Fujitsu say we are sorry. It's our moral duty to compensate some of the sub-postmasters caught up. For you, this must be... well, tell us how you feel. About time? Finally? Relieved?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's about time. I think it's the first time we've had on record that Fujitsu have actually come out and, kind of admitted their culpability in the scandal. It's the first time they've opened up publicly. And obviously now saying that they will have a moral obligation to contribute to the compensation. I think what we need to find out is exactly how much they knew, back then, what information did they share with the post office, and obviously how much they will contribute towards the taxpayers bailing out of the compensation costs.
Chris, interesting to see the difference between a Fujitsu who, straight away came out and said, yeah, hands up, we made a mistake, although they admit to knowing problems with the IT system, and the post office, that bloke still sort of trying to blame everybody and anybody. I was trying to explain to somebody the other day about you guys, and I could be wrong. For many of your fellow sub-postmasters and sub-postmistresses, it wasn't and isn't just about the money. It's the trauma, it's the humiliation, it's being shunned by your community. People died without proving their innocence. People tried to take their own lives. Relationships broke down. Families broke down. In an ideal scenario, we can talk about billions and millions and all that. For you, Chris Head, in Newcastle, what draws a line under this? What says to you, I can get on with the rest of my life?
Yeah, I mean, look, accountability has to be the number one priority. And I've always said that when we've been going through this full process, it needs to be in three sections, really. The convictions had to be overturned because you had all these people who for 20 years have had a conviction over their head for something that they haven't done. So they have to be cleared, even the ones who obviously are sadly no longer with us. And the second part was that everybody needs to rebuild their lives. And because of what's been taken from them in terms, lost their homes, lost their businesses, their families torn apart and everything, then compensation does need to come in to fix that. But nobody will be able to properly move on fully until those responsible who put us in that position are held to account. So, I mean, it's a three-pronged way to a solution, really.
Do you have faith that the process underway now is going to be able to do that when it comes to Fujitsu and it comes to the people who devised the Horizon programme, the people at the post office who knew there were problems? Do you think the inquiry is going to root out those who did wrong?
I mean, I've been impressed with the inquiry, the way it's been handled in terms of, digging out. We've found so much more information from the inquiry in the last 2 years than what we've known before. So, I have faith in that. But we have to look back at all the other scandals that have gone on in this country over the years, and we haven't seen any proper accountability, which is probably why we have scandal after scandal.
And when we
need to draw a line under them.
When we look at what the post office was saying yesterday, oh, I don't have that information. Oh no, I don't have that. Why would you expect me to have that? Do you think the post office, even now, are not taking the opportunity to say, OK, we're going to lay everything bare. This is what we know, and we are really sorry?
Yeah, I think that's a huge problem. I mean, to say that we haven't gone back that far it's just nonsense, really. I mean, it should be no matter what it takes, no matter what it costs to get to the bottom of everything. But how can the post office ever rebuild trust? How can it ever move forward? Or
I'm not sure, Chris. I'm not sure when you read this that they ever will. The interesting thing is, and we talked about this last week, they've been sorting out the arbitration cases and the settlements. That's fundamentally wrong, whether or not the inquiry works or not. I'll tell you one thing that I have total faith in this country, and, you can talk about the judicial system, you can talk about the media. They will not stop. They won't. There will be criminal convictions, and whether it's Paula Vanel's or the boss of Fujitsu, whether it's, I don't know who, the investigators that came, the people that prosecuted you, the lawyers who took a backhand, or all those sorts of people, the world will not stop. That programme created such a wave of interest and quite rightly support after you lot banging your heads against a brick wall for years that I am I think there will be criminal proceedings, and I think it'll go on for a long time. But I think the most important thing I was trying to say was that for you guys, for you people, there's at this moment more of a peace in your lives than there was before, but it's the next stage, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, look, before it felt like it was a group of postmasters against post office and the government, and now it kind of feels like we are the UK public, the nation, against the government and the post office in order to put this right. So, the amount of support we've had in the last few weeks especially has been, you can't really describe it. It's been unbelievable.